Hi, everybody. We have a couple of more math ACT videos to share with you before the series ends. I know some of you have taken the ACT, but hopefully you'll be retaking it this summer to improve your score. And matrices are showing up a lot more on the ACT. So I just want to kind of talk about those. And I'm going to do this a little bit different. I'm going to talk a little bit about when we can add, when we can multiply, and then let you look at a couple of problems. So we can add matrices if they have the same dimensions. So if you notice, rows go across and columns go vertical. That's how we classify them. So this first example has 2 rows and 1 column, and the second example also has 2 rows and 1 column. So these are 2 by 1, and we are allowed to put those together. And to do so, you just take the matching elements and combine them. You could subtract also as well. So 1 plus 0 is 1, and 3 plus a -4, you subtract and take the sign of the larger, so that would be -1. When you're multiplying this, the process is a little different. You do have to have some things that match, but it's not necessarily the dimensions. We're looking at the columns of the first matrix, and they have to be the same as the rows of the second. So if you look at my first matrix, it has 2 rows and 1, 2, 3 columns. And this one has two rows and 2 columns. So these are the numbers that are important here to match. But if you notice, this one has a 3, this one's a 2. So that's not going to work out for matrix multiplication. And here's kind of what would happen. Remember from last week, if you're going to multiply these matrices, you take the first item in this row and match it with the first item in that column 1. That would get multiplied together, so that'd be 8. Then you're going to add that. When you move over to the next item, you're going to move down to this one. That would be added together with -18. But then you're going to have to consider this -1, and -1 doesn't have any item here to combine with, so that's why that wouldn't work. So let's say if I had a different size, say a 5 by 4 and a 4 by 1 that I was trying to multiply, those would actually work because those dimensions are matching. So that's what you have to look out for when you're multiplying. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and give y'all a matrix C to look at. It is an addition first. So if your teacher would pause the video and see if you can look at this addition one. Okay, so hopefully that gave you time to kind of consider this one. And we have answers everywhere, so I know this is going to be possible. And it's because they're the same dimension, both 2 by 2. And you're going to end up with an answer of a 2 by 2. So if I take the 9 and combine it with the 6, that would be a 3. The 8 combined with addition would be 14 with the 6. And -4, +5 would be +1. And if you notice, this is now, I know this is the answer, but I really couldn't eliminate anything else until now. And we can check the last one. 7 plus 4 does add up to be 11. So that does work out like I thought. Very simple, just, making sure they can happen. Okay, now this next one is actually a one that's asking you multiplication. Remember, these 2 letters together like this mean multiplication. And it's saying one of them can't be done. So take a minute and pause the video and see if you can decide which one can't be done. Okay, so hopefully you had a minute to kind of look through these. If you notice, W and X are both 2 by 2s. So I can look in here and see, because they're square, that's why that works out here. It's not just because they have the same dimension, but because they're square matrices, these do match up. If you jump down to J as well, if you notice, that's just multiplying them in reverse. That won't give you the same answer, by the way, but it is possible. So if we look at W and Y, that's another 2 by 2 here, but a 2 by 3, 2 row and 3 column. But these match up, so that's also okay. The next one is repeating that matrix C, the 2 by 3 Y matrix C with Z. And Z is a 3 by 2. And initially you might think that's not possible, but it actually will be because these are the 2 numbers that match. And then lastly, we have the one that won't work, X times Z. X is a 2 by 2, V is a 3 by 2. So these are the numbers that make that impossible. All right, guys, I hope your week is going well and have a great spring break.